All right, and welcome back to Star News, where we join you again with breaking news here at the top of the hour. Our own Dick Jansen in the studio with us, and what can we say, Dick? This has been one of the busiest news days that I can recall in recent memory.
I couldn't agree with you more, Scott. With beautiful weather like this, you would think all the accidents were out of the way, so to speak, with the inclement weather that occurred over the weekend. However, on this beautiful sunshine day, we're going to take you on 58. Now, this is from the Calvary Baptist Church, literally right in front of it, folks. And this accident occurred, I would say, within the past hour or so, involving a motorcycle and one vehicle. Again, the details are coming in throughout the night on a lot of these stories. The driver of the motorcycle was transported immediately from the scene. Now, this is according to the Henry County Sheriff's Office, who was on the site. The injuries were serious at the time, although he's not sure of the extent of those injuries quite yet. Now, here you can see the vehicle. I believe it to be possibly a Kia, perhaps, involved in the accident here. And as you can tell, it looks like the motorcycle was hit from behind. And we'll have a little footage here of the motorcycle coming up. It looks totaled. Very unfortunate in this series of accidents that have occurred today.
And I should say, I would expect that Henry County, in particular Henry County Sheriff's deputies, taking a more active role in accidents this afternoon than they typically do, as the state police likely overwhelmed with all of the accidents happening in the Henry County area right now.
I couldn't agree more, Scott. Several accidents throughout the viewing region today. Multiple individuals going to the hospital for treatment due to any injuries received from these accidents. It's nothing short to say that folks need to obey those speed limits, obey the laws of the road, check your mirrors. It's a lot of accidents have occurred today, and many of them may have been avoidable, just depending on the circumstance. So everyone needs to always pay attention to what's going on the road, and not only pay attention to what you're doing, but other drivers as well.
We certainly appreciate that update, and don't go anywhere, Dick. I know we'll be talking with you again here in just a moment about several more incidences that happened this afternoon. Right now, though, we're going to go to some updates for an accident that took place, a fatal accident, tragically, in the city of Martinsville over the weekend. This was the scene on March 24th, this in the late evening hours, as the Martinsville Police Department investigated this single-car accident. At approximately 11:08 p.m., it's believed, on East Church Street near the intersection with Blue Ridge Street in the city of Martinsville, a vehicle, which you'll see here in a moment, was traveling east on Church Street. The driver lost control of the vehicle just past the intersection with Salmon Street. The vehicle then ran off the right side of the roadway, traveled another 150 feet or so before striking a utility pole. The impact point was on the passenger side of that vehicle, dead center of the passenger door, a very hard impact, bending that car actually around the pole. The driver of the vehicle was James Benjamin Harrison Jr. The passenger, who was fatally injured and pronounced dead at the scene, was Melissa Renee Jackson of 1565 Mapleton Drive in the Callens area of Pittsylvania County, that not too far from Danville. Again, she was pronounced dead at the scene. As a result of the investigation thereafter, the driver of the vehicle, James Benjamin Harrison Jr. of 208 Pine Street in Martinsville, has been charged with DUI, reckless driving, and driving while having a suspended license. Warrants have been issued for all of these charges, and this accident still under investigation. You can see terrible weather conditions at this time. It was thought initially that those may be to blame, but it's certainly not helping in this case, particularly not in the rescue recovery effort, but was determined later that alcohol was a factor in this accident. This case also not closed as of yet, so we will continue to bring you updates if there is additional information in this case. Now we'll go back to yet another incident that took place in Henry County earlier this afternoon. Our own Dick Jansen joins us again on the set. You covered this accident as well on the Figsboro Road in Henry County.
Yes, that's correct, Scott. Now, this occurred earlier this afternoon, and from what we could tell, it seemed that the vehicle in the embankment had struck some sort of pole, utility pole as well at that point. The pole then had cracked and fell on top of the vehicle, at which point they had to remove the pole in order to get the occupant of the vehicle out. It is unclear the extent of those injuries as of now. They were taken away by ambulance, I believe. The car is pretty much destroyed at this point. There is damage to all four sides of the vehicle as well as the top of the vehicle. A lot of law enforcement there. This also occurred, for those of you folks who are familiar with the Figsboro area, this accident occurred just at the second exit of Apple Tree Circle as you enter the Figsboro area. Traffic was backed up. They did have to close down both lanes temporarily in order to get the situation under control. As you can see in some of these photos, power lines were also down, extending down the streets, and there may have been some folks there who may have been without power for a short amount of time. You can see here the back window completely destroyed. The driver's side window and as well as the front windshield also damaged in this. As you can see there, the pole that was struck and destroyed as well. Both airbags had been deployed in the vehicle involved in this accident. And of course, we're trying to get in touch with Sergeant Carpenteri of the State Police at this time to get all the details that we can about the accidents that we'll be covering in the next while.
That another wild accident there, and the next one that we're going to talk about, I think, was actually even more surprising to me. This taking place in the Patriot Center Industrial Park earlier this afternoon on Nautica Road, or Nautica Drive there, leading up to the large Nautica facility in the Patriot Center. As individuals injured here, this is a pretty serious head-on collision between two vehicles.
Yes, there were a total, from my understanding, and again we're waiting on details to come in on this one as well, but to my understanding it was a total of 4 occupants, 3 of the 4 transported to the hospital by EMS squads, and we're always getting details on these situations as they come in. It was 2 smaller compact 4-door vehicles involved in this accident. And again, very, very tragic day across Henry County in the Star News viewing region. I can't remember the last time we've seen this many accidents in one day.
And you know, we sometimes expect this if we're having severe weather, for example, like we had over the weekend. You would somewhat expect this kind of thing, but this is a beautiful, clear afternoon, lots of sunshine, no precipitation anywhere in sight. Not sure what's going on here, folks, but really this has just been an incredible day, particularly for vehicular accidents around the area, and some rather unusual in nature. This is it's heavy damage. You see it to these 2 vehicles here. This is a late model Ford Mustang. The damage so extensive to the front end of this car, it's almost unidentifiable. Obviously some speed involved in this impact here. Looks like a late model import vehicle, perhaps a Honda, we're not sure, but obviously heavy front end damage, and even the axle of that vehicle appears to be either bent or broken. So this kind of damage doesn't occur from a low speed impact. This is certainly something where speed was a factor. Again, unsure of the injuries in this case, but potentially severe in nature. And that's not all. The hits literally just keep on coming. As I know, Dick, you also covered an accident on Fayette Street earlier this afternoon, this involving a motorcycle. Our first motorcycle accident of the evening.
Yes, that is correct, Scott. Now, on the scene of this particular accident, as you can see here, there's one person that they're in the process of loading up to transport out for medical attention. And a very tragic accident. We're seeing this, I guess, as a common occurrence today, where motorcycles appear to be rear-ended. Again, we're not exactly sure what led to this. This was in a residential area for the most part. Speed limits are usually in the 25 to 30 miles an hour range. So it's just going to be very interesting trying to understand what exactly is going on with all of these wrecks. Of course, we do hope everyone that's been injured is okay, but definitely an interesting day as far as amount of wrecks going on. You can see here the interesting thing about this particular story is on the motorcycle. Part of the muffler, as you can see there, is destroyed, but for the most part the motorcycle remains intact. It apparently is hit on the rear left side there. Now this is the vehicle involved in the accident as well. You can see the minor damage to the front. I believe that's the front right fender, and damage to the hood as well. You can definitely say the car caught the worst end of the damage in this particular incident. I do believe the driver of the vehicle did remain there on scene. I believe that's her behind the vehicle as we speak, although unwilling to give a comment. Definitely a stressful day for a lot of folks here in the viewing region.
Dick, we certainly appreciate the hard work that you put into covering these accidents this afternoon. I know that you were very busy indeed. And we thank you for your efforts, and certainly keep us posted with any additional information that may come about.